What is Meerschaum? Meerschaum is German for sea foam. Meerschaum is actually fossilized creatures, sea creatures from millions of years ago. Blocks of Meerschaum has to be mined. They're white, 100 feet down, roughly. There's mining shafts. They mine these. It's blocks in with clay. And the blocks come up. There's a bunch of different grades of Meerschaum. And it's known as block Meerschaum. Now, there is a press Meerschaum, which is all the shavings and stuff put together as a composite. And that won't smoke nowhere near as good. It won't color. So if you're looking to get in Meerschaum pipes, make sure it says block. That's what that means. It's a solid block out of the ground. So a Meerschaum, brand new, it looks something like this. So the inside of that bowl is pure Meerschaum. It's pure white. That's pure Meerschaum. The outside has a light coating of beeswax, and this is a brand new pipe from the carver. The carver puts a coating of beeswax on there. Now, why does a carver do that? Because Meerschaum is very porous. It's like a microscopic sponge. And what the Meerschaum pipe actually does is it filters moisture, nicotine, goop, juices, all that stuff that burns off with the pipe, with the tobacco. The Meerschaum sucks it through. Now, in order to get that suction, there has to be something on the other side, just like a straw. Just like a straw. On the other side is the wax. So this prevents, and it actually creates, a cooler smoke, a cleaner smoke, because the Meerschaum's doing its job by filtering all that gunk out, nicotine, moisture, tar, all that gets filtered into the pipe. So what happens to this juice? It works its way to the surface, and over many smokes, many bowls, you have a pipe looking like this. This has a lot of bowls through it, and the patina comes out. The patina is the color of the pipe. That's what happens. So another very important thing, if you're looking into Meerschaums, is when you're smoking your Meerschaum, you cannot let any cake whatsoever form on it. It's actually a tamper, but the scoop works real well from scraping any cake carbon buildup whatsoever. You can't have that in there because the pipe filters that out. So any buildup's going to block, block the pores, block it from working. So Meerschaums produce that cool smoke because of the filtration process. So you want to keep, as your pipe gets hot, you want to keep your hands off the pipe, because this wax will wear off in time if you keep touching your pipe. As the pipe warms up, you smoke with the stem. But it's just one clean smoke after the next you will experience with a Meerschaum pipe. Meerschaum predates briar. So clay was actually before that. There's little tavern pipes. Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about breaking in a Meerschaum. Well, essentially, you don't have to break in a Meerschaum. There's no break-in process. you basically want to do is condition the wax. I'll explain that here in a minute. So I'm just labeling it as a break-in process because that's what briar pipes need, and that seems to be the terminology across the board when you have a new pipe. So here's a new pipe, a new Meerschaum pipe, and you can see the inside of that bowl is pure white. That is pure Meerschaum. The outside has a light coating of beeswax, which was put on by the carver. So the beeswax is, the pipe is totally covered in beeswax. Okay. Now what you want to do, you just want to smoke your pipe. But there's one little catch that will help you in the long run. The wax was attached to the Meerschaum, and this bowl has not been hot yet. Now, granted, the wax was hot, but the bowl hasn't been smoked out of yet. So it hasn't been festering with heat yet. Now, once you smoke it, the bowl gets hot, the wax melts, and it goes inward. Okay? That creates the suction of filtering the tar, the nicotine, the juices, the goop. It filters that out, brings it to the surface, and you get a nice patina. This particular pipe has about 50 bowls on it. Now, after about 20 some bowls, depending on the pipe, you start to get this patina looking right here. Okay, this is on the shank. It usually happens on the shank. That's first to go. That's where most of the juices end up. And it's the wax is doing its job. It's pulling all that stuff to the surface. The bowl, on the other hand, if you have a darker wax, which a lot of Meerschaums are now, and I kind of like that, it gives a different color to the, it colors differently, as you can clearly see. It gets a little whiter because it's so hot, and this particular wax goes a little bit further into the pipe at first before it starts drawing all that moisture and stuff out of the goop. But once you see this start to happen, you know your pipe is functioning properly. Now, to condition a wax, brand new pipe, or re-wax, for some reason you needed to re-wax it, you light your pipe normal, you hold it normal, you light it up, you get it going, and then before the pipe even starts to get hot, get your hand off of it. You want to hold it by the stem. So you're going to be smoking the whole time with the stem. Okay? Back and forth, clinch, whatever you want to do. Don't touch this, because this wax has to go inward. The more you play around with this when it's hot, the more you're going to rub the wax off, and then the pipe's not going to function properly. So you're going to have to re-wax it. So make sure you're not fondling the pipe when it's warm. I have a habit of doing this for about a dozen bowls. That would really, is that overkill? It might be. I don't know. Every pipe's different. Every carver has different thickness of waxes. I personally believe that this darker wax is a lot thicker over the different pipes I've smoked over the years. The white wax, the real light beeswax, particularly like on this pipe, it seems like it's a little thinner. This is just my observation. I don't know. So it will rub off. You might not realize it. And another word to the wise, don't touch your pipe when it's hot. When you're done smoking, you want to put it on a pipe stand. I like these. They're the correct official pipe stand. You want to get the one that has the hole in it, and it just grips it by the stem. That way nothing is touching this. But you have two little points here, 1 and 2, that touch the pipe, and that's really it. Okay, you get that little spot there and there. Every pipe sits different because it's all different fancy carvings. Now, don't do like I did many years ago. I bought this pipe. It's Dublin. And you can see that little brown spot right there. Yeah. That is a piece of dirt on the table. Could have been a piece of tobacco, a piece of ash, I don't know. I just put it down when I was done smoking, and it laid down. And there was something there, and the pipe was hot. The wax was there. Sucked it right in. So now I have a little dimple there. It's got a little pimple on it. But that's fine. It smokes fine. Just something to be careful of. Yeah, Meerschaums are a different animal. But if you treat them good, they treat you good. And they treat you with magical smokes. Back to back every time. So, like I said, the so-called break-in process is basically conditioning the wax into the pipe for a brand new pipe, and whenever time you need to recoat it. But on habit, I always smoke holding the stem once the pipe's hot. So like, say like a pipe like this, I've been smoking for a while now. It's the wax is good and golden on the inside. I light it up or whatever. I'll hold this for 5-10 minutes or whatever. And when I start to feel a little heat, my hands go right back up here. I'm playing the saxophone, so it goes right. My hands go right up here. So I stay away from all this, and it will save you a lot of headache. You want this pipe to keep smoking thousands of bowls. It will save you a headache. And as far as the shanking color, the coloring of the shank here, it's going to color faster on the thinner shanks like this particular pipe is. This will color a lot quicker than, say, the smaller one. You can definitely see it's a smaller shank, but it's thicker. So this might take 50 bowls versus took 25 or something. That's just a guess before we start seeing patina to come through. So, and and there's pipes like this I have sitting here. This is pretty thick, and it's kind of fancy. Now you can clearly see there's some color here, but nothing like this one, which is a lot thinner. But you can clearly see this is whiter because that's where all the heat goes, and the wax goes further into the pipe. Welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about wax on a Meerschaum. Now, there's been this misconception over the years that you have to wax your mirrors constantly, and I'm going to give you an example why you don't have to. So this is basically, the Meerschaum starts out as a sponge. Okay, so it's very porous. Doesn't like the green screen. Very porous. It's a sponge. That's what it looks like if you put it under a microscope. This is a brand new pipe, and this has been waxed by the carver. It's it's beeswax. Now you can see the inside of that pipe is much brighter. It's pure white versus the outside of it. Okay? There's no wax. That's pure Meerschaum on the inside. Outside is the beeswax. Now that closes the pores up on the outside. Now when this wax gets hot, when you smoke it, it goes inward. You have tobacco on the inside, smoke, tar, nicotine, juices, moisture, all that stuff. It pulls it out as a vacuum. That's the functionality of a Meerschaum. That's why you get a cooler smoke. It's a more flavorful smoke. clean smoke. Now, a pipe that's been smoked over the years many times over and over starts to color. And this pipe has many bowls on it. I have no clue. I bought it used. There's a little story behind this pipe, and I'll get to it in a minute. But this pipe I bought brand new, maybe eight years ago or so. I must have smoked 1,000 bowls through this pipe. Easy. 1,000 bowls. This is my most smoked pipe. And it's I use it for an aromatic. I didn't smoke it that much this year, and I have easy 100 bowls through it. Guess how many times I waxed it? 0. 0 times. And there's plenty of wax still on here. One of the trick is when you're first smoking your pipe, brand new, what works for the best is you want to smoke it. A lot of articles I've written, there's many articles on this. Smoke it many times a day to break it in. Now, you don't have to break this in like a briar. It's a different type of break-in. This basically, you're getting the wax to have a good vacuum on your pipe. Okay? That's basically that's the break-in process. And how do you know the break-in process is going good? The shank starts to color like this. The shank will start getting dark. Now this has about maybe 50 bowls, but it was a nice color like this after about 30. Okay, now every pipe's going to be different. There's all different grades of Meerschaum, which most likely be whether the pores are bigger or smaller. This bowl part gets hotter, so this wax, this started with a darker wax, but it wasn't this dark, and it was a bit lighter than this. This tends to get a little bit lighter because it's actually the hot part, and it does more work, and it gets hot. So some of it is going to go faster into the bowl than this. Now a lot of smokers want to play with the wax constantly to have a better color, a better patina. If that's what you're after, then But the thing is, and that leads to the story of this pipe. Now I bought this pipe used on eBay, and I actually talked to the guy via messages on eBay, and this pipe he waxed. I didn't think nothing of it. I first smoked it. The pipe stunk. I don't know what wax he used. I wouldn't imagine he used beeswax. It stunk. I'm like, well, what is this? And you can see like it's real glossy, like wet. I'm thinking there's too much wax on here. Another thing, it didn't feel like a Meerschaum. It felt like a stone. It felt like a stone, so it was kind of weird. So I kept smoking it. I smoked it. Eventually, the smell went away. And what ended up happening was it didn't filter properly. So how do you know when it's not filtering properly? It's not functioning properly. The wax isn't filtering, isn't doing the vacuum, the suction of the nicotine, the moisture, and all that. Well, guess what? It all comes through here. You're going to get a heavy nicotine blend. So if you're smoking your Meerschaum and you have the same blend over and over, or you come back to it, whatever, and it's like, well, I don't remember that blend being so strong. And there's a lot of moisture. Even if you dry your tobacco out, there's a lot of moisture coming through the pipe. You're constantly running your pipe cleaner through it. There's a lot of juice. You're taking the stem off. You're blowing it out. There's juice everywhere. Guess what? It's not functioning properly. That's what happened to this. So, what do I do with it? The pipe is closed. It's basically all the pores of the pipe are closed at this point. So what do you do? Well, I got a heat gun. I took the stem off, put some pipe cleaners in here so I can hold it. And this smoked, black smoke came off of this pipe for a half hour. It took a half hour to burn all that wax out of here. Now, I didn't burn the patina out. You can still see it's here. I mean, the patina actually looks a lot better after burning all that nastiness off of there. Okay? It was so bad where this has been waxed, I don't know how many times, because there's fanatics out there, that when I heated the pipe, the wax was bubbling through the inside of the bowl. It was boiling out. It was completely clogged with wax. This wasn't going to color no further. This wasn't going to filter no further. It wasn't, you know, if I left it and kept smoking, it wasn't going to do anything. At one point, there was a pool of wax, liquid wax, on the bottom of the bowl as I'm burning this off, and I turn over and I pour it out. That's how much wax. When you keep waxing your pipes, that's what happens. And once it was done, it took a half hour. It actually feels like a Meerschaum now. Now, you're probably thinking, well, you got to re-wax it. So you just get beeswax and you go real light with it. You heat the pipe up. And you shouldn't have to do this. If you maintain your pipes correctly, which you just smoke, and don't handle them when they're hot, because you're going to wipe the wax off, you don't have to go through all this. This is just somebody, you know, either the person I bought it from or the person he got it from was a fanatic. They're worried about coloring, and they just, you know, every bowl, every 2 bowls, they're putting wax on it. You don't have to do that. 1,000 bowls went through this pipe. It smokes perfectly fine. There's no moisture. There's no nicotine. Guess what? I never waxed it. So it scares people away. It scares people away from Meerschaum, because like, I don't want to deal with that whole waxing nonsense. And you know what? You want to color it? That's up to you. Me, I'm about the functionality of the pipe. I'm about the best smoke you can have, the cleanest smoke you can have. And that's why I went away from Briar. It doesn't filter the moisture out, you know? So these things filter nice. But don't let waxing, you got to wax your pipe constantly. Don't let that scare you away, because you do not have to do it. I've been smoking 3 bowls a day, 2 to 3 bowls a day for at least 8 years straight, roughly. I did take a little break for a couple Briars, but I've never waxed a pipe yet. I have other pipe friends that have never waxed a pipe yet. So you don't have to do it. Now, if you have to burn this out, like I bought it used and it was clogged, then it's almost a restoration type thing. But I got this smoking fine now. There's not a nicotine kick. I'm not pulling this off and blowing moisture out. I'm not doing none of that crap anymore. Running pipe cleaners through. I can smoke the whole bowl, and there's no gurgle. That's how you know your Meerschaum is functioning correctly. All right, that's all I got. So I hope you guys took something from this, and that's my experience. And it's not just one pipe. I have quite a few Meerschaums here. So, and I've never waxed one. Welcome back, everybody, for another video. Today we are talking about Meerschaum and the 2 different types of Meerschaum that you can possibly buy for a pipe, and that is the block and the press. Now, the press Meerschaum is something you pretty much want to stay away from. Now, what that is it's the shavings from a block. When a carver is carving, their shavings and stuff. So what they do, they collect all that shaving, they grind it up, and they press it with an adhesive and form another block of Meerschaum, basically. Well, the problem with that is it's not porous. It doesn't filter correctly. It doesn't, it doesn't function correctly like a true Meerschaum should function, and it won't color. If by some reason it does color, it's going to be real spotty at that. So if you ever had a Meerschaum in the past that, you know, might have smoked fine, at least you thought it did, and it never colored. I mean, you put hundreds of bowls through and it never colored. Most likely, it's probably press. Nowadays, I really don't see too much of that. There might be some knockoffs coming from China, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see a lot of it. If you stick to the main dealers, they're all block. They're all block. Now, how can you tell the difference? Well, I guess you're just going to have to go on the dealer and say, all right, it's block. Okay, all right, I believe you. There is a way of testing it, and no one does it because it's kind of unethical. Is you take a new pipe like this, and you see the bowl. The bowl is here. So bright. There it is. And it's pure white on the inside. And the old saying is you can stick your tongue on the inside of that, and if you feel like almost like a suction, that means it's real Meerschaum. What's happening is the saliva in your tongue is actually going inward into the block, and you kind of feel like it's almost like a stickiness. Don't do that. Please don't do that, especially on a new pipe. Or if you're looking to buy one. But that's kind of an old wise tale over the years. But you can use your finger after you bought it, obviously, because it's too late at that point. I mean, you're not going to go up to a Meerschaum table at the show and start fingering everything. That's not going to happen. So, you can see what happens today if you want, but you can just feel. What I'm getting at is there is a way of testing. You can feel the suction go on, on the tip of your finger. You stick to the main dealers, you have blocks. Every pipe that I bought over the years has been a block because it's colored at some form, fashion, or another. It has colored. So, you get a new pipe like this, and talking about this is the Earth and Claw. I had this commissioned probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago by Allie. The stamp there. If ever wants to focus, but I've never seen a claw and egg before. I'm sorry, I always see claw and egg, but I never saw Earth and Claw. So I had to make it, and to my knowledge, this was the first one, and then they made a few other ones. I've seen them come up, but I still don't see them around. But I have something planned for this pipe, so I do plan on using it. But anyway, the press, I do believe this stuff is probably press. The tampers, these tampers, they're probably press. And it's a good way for upcoming carvers to practice on. I mean, something for a tamper, you got a Davy Jones tamper. That's pretty cool. That's good practice. Or they find these small blocks that they can't make a pipe out of, so they end up, like maybe skinnier blocks. And they make tampers out of them to practice. But yeah, this is good for... not saying I don't know what this is. This is actually waxed. I don't know what it is. To be honest with you, I don't care because I'm not smoking out of them. They're tampers. It doesn't matter. So, but I think that might be the trend now. Instead of actually making pipes out of pressed Meerschaum, which is just, it's ground up shavings from, you have a block. And, the carver carved on, well, where does it go? It falls. Falls on a lap, falls on the floor. They sweep it all up, make a powder out of it, put adhesive and press it. And now we got a new block. So it's kind of synthetic Meerschaum, almost. But it doesn't breathe. It's not natural because it's been altered big time. So that's the difference. You want to stay away from press. Like I say, you might have a pipe that smoked great over the years, never colored. Yeah, yeah, most likely it's pressed. But if you want a true Meerschaum pipe, a true block, go with the block. Like I said, all the major retailers, the major companies, Depot, IMP, all these guys, Market, all these guys, they're all blocks. They deal with the carvers. They have contracts with carvers and stuff. So it's not, you shouldn't find a press in there at all. But if you're searching around eBay or you're trying to find some cheap knockoffs to try to see if you like it, yeah, yeah, you can get burnt.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about how to clean a Meerschaum pipe. I know this video was asked a long time ago, so here it is, what I do to clean the Meerschaums, because you're not supposed to have cake on them. Okay, so while you're smoking, you use a tamper, if need be. You use, not a tamper, a pipe cleaner. Well, you use a tamper when you're smoking anyway. So you want to use a clean pipe cleaner, and this is going to be a one-time use for this pipe. Okay, when I'm done, I put the pipe cleaner in, I set it down, and I'll set it down on a pipe stand. I've got these from Meerschaum Depot before. They're cheap. You can get those other plastic ones. I would avoid anything that has like a bowl in it, because you can get ash in it, and you don't want to put ash on the bottom of a Meerschaum, because the Meerschaum will soak it in. So try to keep it a basic stand. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to clean this pipe. This pipe's cold. I smoked it yesterday. We're going to pull this out. Okay, that's number one. Now we're going to get our tamper, our check tool. This is the best thing on the planet. I know there's custom tampers out there and all types of stuff, but guess what? This is the best one, because you got your scoop, you got your tamper, and you got a pick, all in one. So what we're going to do is, we have all this ash in here. You can see the ash. We're going to scoop this out, and we're just going to, this is just basically taking the ash out. You've done this if you smoked the pipe already. And we're just going to throw this in the garbage or an ashtray. And we're going to look. We're going to make sure all the ash is out of there. Any old dottle, which is bottom tobacco. Get all that out of there. And a little bit more came out. Now, if you're not sure, you can have one of these little lights, and you look inside, and you can see there's no dottle. But you can see there's some ash there on the side wall, right? That's what forms your cake for your briar pipes. And you don't want that. You don't want none of that crap in here. So you're going to take your pipe cleaner, your used one, that's got dirt on it from, no, don't stick it up your nose. No, don't do that. So you're going to fold it in half, roughly, and you're going to take the back end and you're going to swab. You're just going to swab the side walls out. This is going to take that loose ash out of there, and you can clearly see we got some of that ash out of there. It looks a little better now, right? So that we're done with this. This is trash now. We're done. Now we have little pieces of paper towel. Now, little squares, whether they three by threes, whatever. Cut them up. I just rip them up off the side of the table and make stacks of them. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in here. Now we're going to use a finger that we can get in there. Now see, it's all in there. And now we're going to twist. Make sure that the paper napkin moves with it. Okay, I'm going to pull it out, and look what we have. We have dirt. We have ash. It's a little bright, but It's there. And we'll do that maybe 3 times. All right. Now I'm already feeling there's tobacco on the side wall in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the scooper and I'm going to scrape it a little bit to get that ash out. Yeah, it came out. It was literally was the last bowl I smoked. Because I do this every smoke. I do this. Okay? Not even close to being done yet. So now it feels smooth, but it might feel a little grainy. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of sandpaper. This is 500 grit. You can buy the sheets. You cut them down in these little strips. That goes a long way. You can use this maybe 3 or 4 times. And we're gonna crimp it up a little bit. We're gonna throw it in here and use your finger. And we're just gonna sand it. I mean, really light. We're gonna go around with it really light. This is gonna get the remaining crap off the side walls. Now, guess what? Stuff came off. Dirty finger. And we're gonna take the other side of this paper towel. I'm gonna do the same thing again. And it should feel smoother now. Even running this through, it will feel smoother. There's very little on here. I don't know, but I don't think it's too bright. There you go. That's what came off that round. Okay? Put your finger in there. Smooth as glass. That's what you want. So now we need to work on the stem part. So I'll unscrew this or pull it out, whatever's easier. Fortunately, this pipe, the pull out was better. So now I get a bristle. I get the bristle ones. So the little red dots. And I'm going to run that through. And as I'm running it, I'm going to be twisting. Okay? I'm going to be twisting. Get any junk out of there in case there was. Keep the walls clean. I do this every time and really nothing really came off. Now this is still clean. I'll go through, a half a dozen bowls before I throw this out. Okay. Give it a blow. Sounds good. One more step. So now, I know not everybody has these reamers, but these are a good investment if you have briar pipes. So what we're going to do is the top part, you unscrew it and you have a drill bit. And what you do is this drill bit is to clean out the shank. So we're just going to run this through and there's hardly anything. Now, sometimes you're not going to see that. Maybe you can see it. Little bright spot. You can see, yep, oh, there it is. See the drill bit? In and out. You want that to feel smooth. Any hesitation? Now, say you don't want to do this every bowl. You wait a couple bowls, 4 or 5 bowls. It's going to butt up against that little drought hole, and you're going to feel resistant. That's all that goo, tar, and stuff. It's going to come out. Now, I usually give it a little tap. Nothing hard. This is Meerschaum. Be careful. And you'll see a little specks come out. And I tend to use the dirty towel and just wipe off the drill bit because that gets gummy. Now, what you want to do is you want to physically look in there and make sure there's no debris, pieces of tar, gooiness. Get that out of there. You can put this in there and try to scrape it out, or if you have tweezers or whatever. If it gets that gooey, you're going to spend more time on it. All right, once that's done, you're done. Give it a nice blow. Make sure that you have complete clearance. No restrictions, no nothing. And you're set to go. Load up your bowl. or you can just put it away. Now all Meerschaums come with their little fancy cases. You open it up, they're all custom fit. If you didn't know, these are good traveling cases, and to put it away. Um, when I pull a tin of tobacco out, I'll pick a pipe for it. I know it's smoked good in the past, and I'll go through that whole tin. And if I'm done with the pipe, I'll put it away into this and put it away. Until next time. All right, so that's how I clean a Meerschaum pipe after every bowl. Now, there's no deep cleaning. If you're doing that after every bowl, you're kind of doing a deep cleaning every time. So you really don't need to do a deep cleaning. You can do a deeper cleaning with the stem underwater or alcohol or whatever with more bristle things. But you saw how much this is clean. That's what you want to see. So that's going to give you a good tasting pipe with the Meerschaum every time, because there's no cake. You don't want no cake on these things. There's a few reasons for no cake. First of all, you will have a terrible smoke, because I've done it. You will have a terrible smoke. You're gonna have tongue bite. It's just, I don't know. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. You don't want it. Another thing, the expansion rate. The expansion rate is different from the cake to the Meerschaum, so you got to be careful with that. So you want your Meerschaums to last. You want them to taste good every bowl. You want dynamite every bowl. There you go. There you go. It's a little work, but guess what? You're going to have phenomenal smokes. So until next time, have a good one.